What's going on, everyone? Happy Monday to everyone. Hopefully, everyone is doing well, staying safe, healthy. Hopefully, you had a good weekend. If you had to take a COVID test over the weekend or today, I hope you have tested negative. If you did test positive for COVID, I hope you have a full and speedy recovery with no long COVID issues. It is time now for the Monday edition of the Pandemic Update for Monday, August 5th, 2024. If you're new to my channel, maybe you don't know what the pandemic update is. Well, first off, welcome to my channel. This is where I do the daily pandemic update, which is basically all things COVID, any other virus that could be a health threat to you. We talk about air qualities. We talk about a lot of different things to help keep you healthy, safe, and informed of what's going on with the COVID pandemic. Yes, I'm saying COVID pandemic. COVID did not go away and the pandemic did not end. In fact, here in the United States and many other countries around the world, we are currently seeing an increase in COVID. COVID numbers are still rising. Even deaths are starting to rise once again. Yes, we are going to see some new data today that says, hey, COVID deaths are still happening. And I'm seeing many people post on social media, such as various different places, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm seeing people saying they're staying positive for many days right now and that they are legitimately really sick and that COVID, or at least the current round of COVID that people are getting, it's no joke right now. This sounds to be more serious as of lately, or at least for a lot of people that I'm seeing in postings. They're saying, hey, we're really sick right now, and this is not good whatsoever. So, yep, I do keep you informed with what is going on. Want to stay informed? Subscribe down below, give this a thumbs up, hit that notification bell, share these videos with anyone you know, and of course, leave your comments down below. All right, we have a lot of things to get through today. Some news stories, some weekly data out of New Zealand. Yes, New Zealand's on time this week. We have B&O's weekly data. We have new Walgreens data, which at Walgreens, there is something that has not happened in a long time. I don't know precisely how long, but something we have not seen happen at Walgreens in a long time. I'm thinking maybe last winter. I honestly don't know. We'll get to that in a little bit. If there's time, we'll see some wastewater data, and then, of course, some of our regular data, such as New Jersey and New York. And yes, you did hear me say in my opening little speech there that I'm starting to see more social media postings of people saying they've tested positive for COVID. One person said, I've been positive for COVID for several days, and I don't seem to be feeling any better. This is absolutely horrible. Please try and avoid this at all costs. I mean, it is pretty bad right now. And a lot of people I personally know who have been positive as of lately, yeah, they're saying it is no fun. This is no joke. All right, Australia. Over 40 athletes test positive for COVID as virus rips through Australian Olympic team. Yes, and this does increase the number of Olympic players total that has been positive. It's been getting very hard to keep up with what the actual number is because if we read this a little further here, it says more than 40 Australian Olympians have tested positive for COVID and other illnesses at the Paris Games. So at this point, I think the Olympics, it's safe to say we're north of 40. We may even be north of 50 COVID cases because remember, there have been several other COVID cases prior to this at the Olympics. More on the Olympics in just a moment. We will take a little look today at the website. I have updated a few things. Jon Stewart. This did not make the website yet. It will at some point. Mind you, there's a big backlog right now of names that I have to add to the COVID positive archives. Jon Stewart to miss this week's daily show after catching COVID. So, yeah. Now, did he actually catch COVID or did COVID catch him? I don't know, but yes, it's just another person who has tested positive for COVID in Oregon. This will also make the website. This will get there eventually. Measles outbreak in Oregon continues to spread, and here's what we want to know. Here's what's most important for you to know. The numbers, they're going up. The measles outbreak that started in mid-June in Marion County has spread to at least 23 residents in 3 counties now. So, Oregon, it continues to rise. All right, real quickly, let's take a look at the website here, and we can see here I did add another COVID positive. It was a video gamer, I believe it was. I don't know. I don't keep up with the esports too well, but it came up that he was a video gamer from Japan. And then, of course, we did update the Olympics grid. You want to know what's going on with the Olympics in terms of people getting sick or dropping out? Yes, I do have a thread, and that thread is on page 2, and I will be very shocked if it does not get to page 3 by the end of this Olympic Games, which should be ending this upcoming weekend. And then, of course, we do have a thread where we keep track of list of performers. I'm not the only one that contributes to all this. My moderator, Steve, has been adding a lot of things lately. And yes, he has made several contributions to this as of lately. That's on page 3 as well, and it doesn't include, this only goes back to, what date did we actually start this thread? And we can actually go back to June 28th. Mind you, I missed earlier in the year. There's a lot that was not added, so the number of performers getting sick out on the road, it's serious. It continues to be a big problem. So if you're looking for any of this stuff, maybe you're looking for a COVID study or the COVID positive archives, and like I said, I'm behind, and I can actually show you how far behind I am. There's Jon Stewart's name at the bottom of the list. I have all these athletes to add. It's been a very positive summer. And because I do these archives, I can actually probably go back and look to see, are we getting more celebrities testing positive than last summer? I can't honestly answer that question. I'm going to try and find an answer for that question because I don't remember it being this many last summer. It just seems to be absolutely crazy right now. Remember Whoopi Goldberg a few weeks ago? Yeah, infection number, what was it? Number 4 for her? Yeah. Anyhow, moving on, my website is datareport.info. New Zealand. Sign of the times, a sign of what's been happening in other countries. One week a country goes down, next week they go back up, then down, up, down. It's happening in a lot of different places. It just happened in New Zealand. And New Zealand this week reports cases are up. 2,003 new cases with 15 further deaths reported. And that is higher than the previous week, where they reported 1,768 new cases and 16 further deaths. So this wave right now that's going on around the world, it's consistent, and every time seems like it looks like it wants to go down in some places, it tries to go back up again. But overall, New Zealand is down from their peak back in May. You can see here, they actually peaked. Wastewater, if you take a look at it, it actually peaked back in May, then it dropped, then it went up again. Now it's down again. So, I mean, overall, they are slowly coming down, but the point being made is they're still dealing with high transmission of COVID at this time. All right, speaking of high transmission of COVID, we got a problem here in the United States. Cases, they're continuing to rise, and this is just estimates. Doesn't include all the people that don't test. Doesn't include what Wastewater says it could be. New cases from BNO. Here's the weekly U.S. COVID update from BNO. 158,624 estimated new cases. That's a big increase. Average is 137,990. Yeah, that average went up by 16,972. In the hospital at this time, 4,554. That's up by 682. And reminder, there's a large percentage of hospitals not reporting. They do put the percentage that is reporting down below. So if all hospitals reported, this number would be significantly higher. In the ICU, 488. That went up by 86. New deaths. I don't have last week's number, but I can tell you this much. It's a significant increase. 652 new deaths. The average went up by 61 to 571. Yes, COVID deaths are rising again. The wild card with this wave is, will it go back over 1,000 deaths in a week again? It could at this rate. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Moving on, they say the COVID summer wave continued to grow for the 9th week in a row, taking the total of new cases to the highest level since early March. Hospital admissions and deaths are also increasing. And you notice in that sentence, they don't say anything about peak. They were saying some states were starting to peak last week. They don't even mention that now. Moving on, they say the most notable increases this week were reported in Delaware, 84% increase, Vermont, 60% increase, Wisconsin, 57% increase, North Dakota, 46% increase, Kentucky, up 34%, Ohio, up 30%, Florida, yes, Florida, which was supposed to be peaking, at least according to this, is continuing to rise, up 27%, though that increase in Florida, the percentage does seem to be shrinking a little bit, so I hope Florida peaks soon, because Florida is really bad right now. Georgia, up 27%. Now, let's talk about hospitalizations in the hospital, because there's a lot of hospitals that just are not reporting. Only 33.7% of hospitals in the U.S. submitted COVID data this week, slightly down from last week, so we're losing even more, yet the hospitalizations still went up. This means actual case numbers and hospitalizations are substantially higher than reported. This is the first week since April with more than 600 new COVID deaths in the U.S. It's also the 229th week in a row with more than 400 new deaths, or more than 1.2 million deaths during the same period. So far this year, nearly 4.3 million COVID cases have been reported in the U.S., causing at least 316,879 hospitalizations and 34,331 deaths. And I would have to think we're going to stay above 600 deaths a week for the foreseeable future, at least for several weeks, until things eventually slow down enough that deaths won't be that high, which, who knows? That's anyone's guess as to when that is going to be. Alrighty, moving on. The allergy map today does show moderate pollen levels, generally from the mid-Atlantic region, parts of the Northeast, like New York, western Massachusetts, lower southern Vermont, all the way across the Ohio Valley, through the Midwest, and almost back to the Rocky Mountains. Then you do see yellow surrounding that as well. Pollen's good in Florida today, South Carolina, and Georgia, but you're dealing with what's going on with Debbie right now, which is problematic for you. Taking a look at what's going on with air qualities, and you can see as this loads, we do have some problems today in Arkansas, Tennessee, much of the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast, straight on back to the Great Lakes, and continuing to have air quality problems on the West Coast as well. Drum roll, please, as we check the latest update on heat-related illnesses. I do hope this will come up and load. It's trying to load. Let's see if we get it here. Here we go. Take a look at this. Things improved significantly in the East. We do still see some spots here and there that are dealing with heat-related illnesses. Maine got a lot better. Northeast in general got better. We do see increases up in portions of the upper Midwest, and the West Coast continues to be bad. Florida continues to be bad as well. Take a look at Kansas, the Great Plains. Yes, you are having problems still as well. Alrighty, moving on now. Let's take a look at this. This is my other X account. You want to learn what's going on with Debbie and other stuff? I'll be doing some tweeting there later today. Climate data report is the place for that. Moving over now to this. Philadelphia yesterday, 799 EMS incidents. Below 800 by one. Hey, we'll take it. Seeing a decrease there is a good thing. Alright, let's take a look. See if we can get our monthly update out of Philadelphia. I've been refreshing this, and now still nothing. Usually right about now, or maybe within the next week or so, we will get an update out of Philadelphia. Taking a look at what's going on in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, we do see here there are some EMS calls to be had. Currently 14 to be exact, and a few calls right now in Chester County, Pennsylvania as well. Alright, weekly Walgreens update. We finally come to this, and we can see testing. Yes, something we have not seen in a long time. Total test, 10,596, the highest number reported since I can't remember when. If anyone knows the last time we've gone over 10,000 tests at Walgreens, let me know in a comment down below. The positivity rate nationally this week for COVID, this is COVID testing now, 40.2%. Prior week was 39.4%. Difference of up 0.7%. So even with this testing increase, the positivity rate still went up. Texas did a ton of testing, and the positivity rate still went up. It was peaking. Now it went up ever so slightly once again. 42.4% this week, 42.3% last week, up 0.1%. Total tests, 2,885 versus 1,668 in California. Your positivity rate and testing went up once again. So, though it looked like you were starting to peak, Walgreens says, hey, it's rising once again. 43.2% this week, 41.1% last week. Difference of up 2.1%. Total test, 380 versus 185. Could that KP 3.1.1 variant be starting to cause this? It could be. It'll be short-lived. Eventually, the West Coast will have its drop. Utah, you're still rising. 43.8% this week. The prior week was 36.1%. That's a difference of up 7.6%. Total test, 48 versus 36. Oklahoma is doing just absolutely horrible. Oklahoma, 46.9% positivity rate this week versus 30.2% last week. That is up by 16.7%. Total test, 113 versus 86. Kentucky's not looking good. Yikes. A 39.8% positivity rate this week versus 33.7%. That is up by 6.2%. Total test, 118 versus 101. I want to end Walgreens today on a positive note. Let's find somewhere that's dropping. How about we go to Delaware? Remember, Delaware did report a big increase over at B&O. Well, take a look at this. Their positivity rate for this week did drop somewhat. But if we zoom in the chart here just a little bit, we do note they do a lot of up, down business. Overall trend has been upward. The current week's positivity rate is 36.9%. Prior week was 46.8%. That is down by 9.9%. Total tests, 65 versus 47. All right, let's take a look at two wastewater sites real quickly. First, we will come up here to South Bend, Indiana, and let's see what's going on there. Whoa, you're seeing a big increase over a period of time. Then it has leveled off a little bit for COVID. Not much of an issue in the way of the other viruses, although norovirus is present in your area. Let's continue on. Let's do another wastewater site. How about we come out to the west, considering we'll end today's video with New Jersey and New York. And let's see what's going on in San Francisco this week. I'm very interested to see this. Hopefully we see levels are dropping. Nope. Look at this. Once again, San Francisco is rising. Wow. You've been on an overall trajectory of an increase since back in May. Your highest level was back in July. And once again, there are indications that your COVID levels are rising again. That's not good. RSV is low at this time. Influenza A, influenza B, not much of an issue. Same with HMPV. And norovirus is medium at this time. And look at this. I am seeing detections of an Mpox case back in July. Alrighty, moving on. Let's take a look at New Jersey for today. And in New Jersey, we do note that only 58 out of 70 hospitals reported, which results in 435 hospitalizations. Hopefully that number will be higher tomorrow for number of hospitals reported. And if it is, we know the hospitalization number will be higher. Hopefully we start seeing it drop soon. On a ventilator, 15. Number of people in the ICU, 37. Discharges, 57 were reported. Taking a look at New York State. Now you have to look really close here, but you do note New York State, 1,762 new cases. I do believe that is higher than what was reported last Monday. Yes, I think it is. Yep, it's higher than last Monday. So we'll have to see. Could it be KP 3.1.1 is starting to reverse things, and now they're going to go up or level off a little bit instead of dropping? When we take a look at the hospitalizations in New York State, they have not started dropping yet. Hospitalizations continued to rise in New York State ending last week. Reminder, this data is from the end of last week, and also a reminder that we did not get an update on Friday. They included all of it today. Their hospitalizations in New York State are at 1,206, and the ICU is at 120. Real quick, it is worth me showing to you that New York State at this time is dropping for hospitalizations right now. We'll have to see what happens tomorrow. But it is dropping ever so slightly. Actually, I would say it's actually leveled off, not dropping. It's Long Island, I think, is the one that I wanted to say is dropping. Yes, Long Island is starting to drop ever so slightly. But there are regions in the New York State that are actually starting to rise a little bit faster. And we can see that here. The capital region at the end of last week was really starting to rise. In the middle of the week, they were at 49 hospitalizations. And then by the end of the week, they were all the way up to 66. So we'll have to watch what happens. It seems to me some states, though they're at the top right now, they're not really dropping a lot. They're just bouncing around because we have a change in variants. Alrighty, folks. We will have another pandemic update again tomorrow. We covered a lot of ground today, and we'll do the same thing again tomorrow. We'll have more data. If you enjoyed this update, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel down below. It's the best way to stay informed. Hit that notification bell. Share these videos with anyone you know. And remember to leave your comments down below. I'll see you all again next time. Until I see you again next time, stay safe out there and have a fantastic Monday afternoon. Thanks for watching.